I'm going to put full 8-foot sheets of metal on the back. That's kind of how I designed it, just for simplicity. So I measured down 8 feet from the bottom of my rafter tails, and then I shorted it by 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch short of 8 feet. I come down here and made a mark, and then I measured up the distance from the bottom and went across and made more marks. One thing I can already tell I didn't think about is these brackets getting in the way of my bottom trim, but that's something we'll just have to figure out how to work through. But I want to give myself a 1/2 inch of wiggle room to work with. So the flange on my bottom trim is 1 inch. So I figure if I measure short a 1/2 inch and I want to gain 1 inch, a 1/2 inch, then if I put the top of my bottom trim even with this mark, then that should give me a 1/2 inch of room to play with up and down. Also, I measured across. So from what I understand with this metal is you don't want a rib to land at your windows or doors, like the center of a rib where you have to cut it, because then it's hard to control water intrusion. And which here, I mean, there's not a lot water going to get back here, but I got really lucky, measured from the end, and I'm going to fall pretty much right in between ribs on this side of the window and that side of the window. So pretty happy about that. So I won't have to, I guess professionals that know they're going to put metal up would lay out their windows and doors before they built the building. But I'm clearly not a professional, so this is the way we're going to do it. Sometimes I've learned to take what this stuff gives me. Oh, hit my level. So when I put this first piece of, don't fall. When I put this first piece of bottom trim on, that channel fit right over those bolt heads, and it dropped me down about a 1/4 inch farther than where I wanted to be. But strangely enough, it ended up being perfectly level. But if I'm worried about critters and stuff, I may have to come up behind here and seal these off where it kind of goes out over those brackets. But again, it's not ideal, but I think that's my best option, is just to go with it. This bracket here I put on sideways, of course, so I'll have to do some work around this bolt head for sure, but that won't be a big deal. So I got my metal stacked up here. You can see here's my leading edge, I guess you would call it. This is the end that gets overlapped on top of it. You see this side don't have that. So I'm gonna take a block of wood and square all these up good. I take an 1/8 inch drill bit. I'm gonna go ahead and drill just to the left of each one of these ribs on the flat. I'll probably drill the first row a couple inches up, then go every couple feet, and then do one couple inches from the top. There's Sally. Dad and Sally came with us today. He's down there fishing and Sally's exploring. So a couple different reasons why I drill these holes ahead of time. One, it makes it a lot easier to get your screws started, especially when you're working by yourself. And two, when you stack them like that and screw them all together, when you get your metal put up, all your screws will be in a nice neat row and it'll just give a little better appearance. So all of my windows came with pre-made J-channel, except for that one, for whatever reason. Of course, I bought these second-handed, so it is what it is. So that's a problem for another day. So the back window already has J-channel built onto it. I've decided that I'm not going to fool with putting J-channel at the top. And I guess a couple, maybe 3 different reasons. One is, it's just another thing for me to try to make fit working by myself. 2 is, there's not a whole lot that's going to be crawling up this metal as far as critters go. And I've also decided that I'm going to put this inside yeah, I can't get my words out. I'm gonna put this inside foam closure in, and that way I don't have to worry about wasp and bugs and all that stuff getting down in the top. So that's my plan anyway. Just using these little inch long metal screws with a little built-in washer, 1/4 inch head, and they're painted emerald green to match the metal. And with my drill, looks like about a 10 setting is enough to snug it down enough to just barely compress that washer but not squeeze it out. Should have just started with that.
Hurried that up, didn't it?
Yep. So all I did on those two sheets was I measured up from my bottom trim to the actual bottom of the window up in there. Then I measured the actual width or height of the window, not the quarter, not the J channel, but the actual window. And then I measured, like this piece stopped here, so I measured the distance between the last sheet of metal and this side of the window, and I accounted for my overlap. So I actually measured from right here over, and then I made all my cuts just a little bit wide. But imagine you don't want them perfect because it's going to be hard to squeeze all that in there and get it to fit. But this Well, it didn't come without struggles, but there's this wall. Got metal on it. Real happy with how it turned out. So we're going to do obviously black trim, green metal. We got black base trim. Our windows are black. Our corner trim will be black. I've actually got a piece of it down here. It's not long enough, I don't think, but it's left over from the roof. Black trim like that. I think it'll look good. I'll tell you a story about how we landed on green. I was going to go gray metal black trim, and Jackie wasn't a huge fan of that, which is fine. She wanted to go red metal with black trim, which I agreed with, except for the fact that the red metal has to be special ordered, and it's just a pain in the butt. It's easier to work with if it's cut to fit, but waiting on it to come in, paying the deposit on those crates and all that stuff, it's just a pain. So the only colors they have in stock is white, black, green, and gray. So we settled on this green because we could just stop and pick it up, and to be honest with you, I think it was the right choice. It looks really good, I think. And the reason, obviously, you're not going to go with black because the trim's black and the roof's black. White out in the woods just don't make a lot of sense to me. So ended up on green. We decided to do metal because it's relatively easy to put up, I guess. It should be super resistant to staining and the elements out here in the woods. But it was the right choice. So I am probably going to go down here and work a little bit on digging another foundation for the dock steps coming up from the lake, since I got a little bit more time. But just in case I forget, until next time, y'all find something you love to do it till it hurts. Hold that out that window. If we're gonna get stuck, we might as well get it on film. Hold it out. Nobody I know,